Welcome to Traveler's Tales. I am your host, Greg Alonzo. Today I will be your guide through history as we take a look at the search for the Garden of Eden. Before we begin, just a quick reminder that we post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with special editions on Thursdays. Moving right along, mythology tells us one thing, while archaeology tells us another. Did the Garden of Eden really exist, or is it just a myth? Is the story of a paradise on earth written about in other cultures of the region? Where then was it located? Today we will answer these questions as we take a look at this terrestrial paradise. In Abrahamic religions, the Garden of Eden, or Garden of God, is the biblical paradise described in Genesis 2-3 and Ezekiel 28 and 31. The location of Eden is described in the book of Genesis as the source of 4 tributaries. Various suggestions have been made for its location. At the head of the Persian Gulf, in southern Mesopotamia, which is now Iraq, where the Tigris and Euphrates run into the sea, and another location is in Armenia. Genesis 2:10-14 lists 4 rivers in association with the Garden of Eden. They are the Pishon, Gihon, Hiddekel, which is the Tigris, and the Firat, which is the Euphrates. It also refers to the land of the Cush. When translated, this refers to Ethiopia. However, a more accurate translation would be Kosei, a Greek name for the land of the Kassites. These lands lie north of Elam, immediately to the east of ancient Babylon, which, unlike Ethiopia, does lie within the region described. Another interpretation from Antiquities of the Jews by the 1st century Jewish historian Josephus identifies the Pishon as what the Greeks called the Ganges River and the Gihon as the Nile. Like the Genesis flood narrative and the Tower of Babel, the story of Eden echoes the Mesopotamian myth of a king as a primordial man who is placed in a divine garden to guard the tree of life. The Hebrew Bible depicts Adam and Eve as walking around the Garden of Eden naked due to their sinlessness. Other mentions of the Garden of Eden can also be found elsewhere in the Bible. Isaiah 51:3, Ezekiel 36:35, Joel 2:3, Zechariah 14, and Ezekiel 47 use paradisical imagery without naming Eden. From where does the name Eden derive? The name Eden derives from the Akkadian Edenu. In Sumerian, the word Edin translates as plain or steppe. It is closely related to the Aramaic root word meaning fruitful or well-watered. Another interpretation associates the name with the Hebrew word for pleasure. Thus the Vulgate reads Paradisum voluptatis. Some Bible translations has the wording, and the Lord God had planted a paradise of pleasure. For some Christians, especially in the Orthodox tradition, Eden is considered to be a reality outside of empirical history that affects the entire history of the universe, as seen in the idea of an atemporal fall. This then separates humanity's current reduced form of time from the divine life enjoyed in Eden. By now I am sure most everyone is confused. Where then was the Garden of Eden? The scholar community have also suggested that the Garden of Eden was located in Lebanon. Others have claimed it's in the Armenian highlands, Iraq, Kuwait, and finally Iran. Some religious groups have believed that the Garden of Eden to be local to them and outside of the Middle East. Some early leaders of Mormonism held that it was actually located in Jackson County, Missouri. The 20th Century Panacea Society believed it was located at the site of their hometown of Bedford, England. Preacher L.V.E. Calloway claimed that it was on the Apalachicola River in Florida, near the town of Bristol. And lastly, there are those who believe that the location was in Jerusalem. On his 3rd voyage to the Americas in 1498, Christopher Columbus thought he may have reached the earthly paradise upon seeing the South American mainland. A number of parallel concepts to the Bible, to the biblical Garden of Eden, exist in various other religions and mythologies. Dilmun in the Sumerian story of Enki and Ninhursag is a paradisical abode of immortals where sickness and death were unknown. The Garden of the Hesperides in Greek mythology was also somewhat similar to the Jewish concept of the Garden of Eden. According to Islamic teaching, the term Jannat Adni represents the Garden of Eden or Gardens of Perpetual Residence is used in the Quran. the common term of Al-Jannah meaning the garden. However, in Islam, the Garden of Eden is on the fourth layer of the Islamic heaven. This garden is not necessarily thought of as the dwelling place of Adam and Hawa, who is Eve. In actuality, there were four interpretations that prevailed among early Muslims. First, the garden was paradise itself. Second, it was a separate garden created especially for Adam and Eve. Third, it was located on earth. And lastly, it was best for Muslims not to be concerned with the location of the garden. Groundbreaking research has been done by biblical scholars with the hope of finding paradise on earth. Their best estimate places it somewhat near Iraq and Iran, north of the Persian Gulf, where scholarship regards Eden as mythical, and there is nothing remotely like generally accepted proof of the existence of this garden paradise. This brings us to the end of the search for the Garden of Eden. Thank you for joining us for this edition of Traveler's Tales. If you enjoyed this video, please consider becoming a channel sponsor. Your support will enable us to continue putting out quality videos, and buying me a coffee always makes my day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Traveler's Tales. This really is the best way to help our channel grow. Until we meet again at the crossroads of folklore and fact, Cartistos.